Welcome. We have our representative for the 17th Legislative District, Paul Harris. Paul Harris, I just want to have an informal conversation with you and like to start just simply with your experience. You have a story to tell regarding a burgundy scarf thing on the floor. Can you tell us about that?
Sure. It was a fun day on the floor. We were actually having, they had taken a look at regulating the Christian birthing centers. And so a group of women had come up with the scarves, and were giving them out to those that are pro-life and that were standing up for the Christian birthing centers.
This is on the assembly floor.
This is on the assembly floor of the House.
And you say
House.
they, who's they?
They would be, I guess, the proponents that wanted to protect the birthing centers. And they had done actually a great job. They had, these Christian birthing centers people were trying to regulate them. And here they are, a private enterprise. They saved the state of Washington about $14 million in a tough economy, and are helping any women. They don't have to be Christian, any woman. They can come in and get free pregnancy tests, and then we'll direct them to if they are pregnant, what to do. And it's just a great program.
Okay, so what you're talking about is the crisis pregnancy centers that have been operated by volunteers throughout the state.
Correct.
They've been operating, giving free services to women in order to allow them to be able to see their baby quite often, because a lot of these places have ultrasound imaging equipment, so they can see a heartbeat that's beating, they can see the little baby moving around. And they've been conducting the services all based on free contributions, not any cost to the state. And there is Planned Parenthood, was it? That wanted to...
That was the group, the Planned Parenthood group. And my position with Planned Parenthood was that you know, if they're going to regulate this group, then we need to regulate them. And for sure, they didn't want to go down that road. And you know, here we have a government agent, a group that's being supported by the government, Planned Parenthood, wanting to get into the business of a group that is completely private enterprise and is doing a great service. Mm-hmm. And that didn't go well. The burgundy scarf were those of us that supported this group in their endeavor.
You said us. Were you wearing a burgundy
Absolutely.
Scarf? Where were you wearing that? It was like
on the House floor.
Okay, and not up here, right?
No,
like a scarf,
not a turban, not a turban.
Okay.
No, a scarf.
So you were communicating ahead of time. Somebody provided burgundy scarves.
They did. And what was comical about it, though, that there was probably one of the most liberal Democrats, a woman, Representative Dickerson, came over to me and says, "Paul, why I'm wearing a burgundy scarf? Is there a reason that everyone's wearing these burgundy scarves?" And says, "Well, yeah, they're wearing them because we're basically for the Christian birthing centers or the Christian pregnancy centers. We're in support of them."
Good.
And she goes, "Oh my gosh, I don't have another scarf."
She wanted one.
She wanted to wear. She did not want to wear that scarf.
Oh, she happened to be wearing the right color.
She happened to be wearing the right colors, but it was the wrong side.
So
brother.
She was making a statement whether she liked it or not.
She was so embarrassed, and I knew. She said, "What do I do?" I said, "Well, I think you're one of us now.
You just wear it.
Just wear it and be happy." So you know, we were able to actually that bill did not pass, thank heavens, and that we were able to that was sidetracked and we derailed it. So that
was a
thing.
bill that would basically make life very, very difficult, if not impossible, for these free crisis pregnancy centers to continue to operate. Is that right?
Correct, David. It was the most ludicrous bill. If you looked at it, they had to list the services that they did not provide. Not the services that they did provide. They need to have a list of the services they did not provide. And it said how big those services, how big those non-services. It was the most bizarre thing I'd ever heard of. That'd be like you going to Taco Bell and saying, "Now, I know I'm in Taco Bell, but you need to list that you don't sell a McDonald's hamburger here."
It seems kind of absurd. Now, why would they go to such measures to make life so difficult for this one group? It's kind of, I think of it as you're discriminating against a group of people that are trying to provide some free services. Doesn't that seem...
Well, their contention was that the women that came into these services did not know where they were going, and that they were not, and I said that's very disingenuous, first off, of women to think that they're not smart enough to know where they are. Mm-hmm. And I had been into 32 of those clinics because I deal businesses both with, I hate to say this, but I sell generic drugs, and so I deal in this market all the time. And I had been into these centers. And there's no doubt that a woman, when they go into that clinic,
they know where they're going.
They know exactly where they're going. And the services are clearly described, and they know exactly what's going on. And it's disingenuous to think that women are not smart enough to know that.
So one of the ground eveners, what the right terminology is, something to just make a level playing field, is that all laws ought to apply to all people.
Absolutely.
No exceptions, and you can't take one group and say, I'm going to make it a set of rules for you, you need to abide by those, and I, by the way, am exempt. It seems kind of unfair.
Well, so my position with Planned Parenthood was, if we're going to regulate, then you need to describe, you need to list your your top 2 services that you provide. And abortion's number 1. And that needs to be up there in the biggest letters that I know, and you need to declare exact services that you're offering. And then on top of that, you need to list where you're getting your funds from. And they did not want to go down that road.
So it was obvious that the lights were turned on.
Absolutely.
There was a group of, a good showing of people that came in and say, hey, don't pass this.
Huge support.
So how much effect does the public getting involved like that have on legislatures? I mean, you know how it works up there.
I think it's really important that people get involved. There were literally, in the public hearing for that, there were probably 1,000 people that showed up. So in our committee meeting, when we first initially heard that bill, the room was packed. And it was packed with.
You couldn't fit 1,000 in that room.
But they were out in the hallway. They were outside in the rotunda. They were everywhere.
And the majority of those were saying, "Don't pass this bill that would restrict these services."
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that was good.
It was. It worked out really well. We won one. We won one.
Which is
and I don't
good.
win many up there. Let me tell you.
I understand that, but we know that what made a difference in that case was that the word got out. Volunteers came up, or people that cared, citizens got involved. They came up and they made their presence known, and that made a difference.
It really did. Yeah, it really did.
Great. Glad to hear that outcome.
I like winning every once in a while.
You still got that scarf?
I do, actually.
Hopefully you won't need it again.
I hope. Well, yeah. You know what I've learned is that bad bills, as long as I'm in the minority, as long as a conservative Republican is in the minority, bad bills seem to come back every year. And I'm sorry to say that, but I'm sure I'll see that. They have tried that bill 2 other times, and that bill will come back again. And so we need to be armed and ready, and we need to fight that fight again. And we will have to fight that fight again until we get the majority. But it'll come back. It's sad to say.
I think of
we have some slow learners up there.
Edmund Burke's quote, "All that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing."
Very good.
In this case, people did something, and they stopped the evil, because there's always going to be a battle. You never can give up. No. You need to always fight for what's right. So well done. I'm glad you were on the winning side.
And I'm sure some of your people were there, and we all fought the good fight, and we won.
When you say my people, I don't have people, but people that share our values,
exactly.
I think is what you're talking
Thank
about.
you. Thank you. That is correct.
Great.
So what's another topic? So we've talked a little bit about that.
Well, you had a recent one here. You just were, I guess there's a bill that just passed or is going to pass regarding the workers' compensation insurance.
You know, one of the things we'd like is to get jobs back in Clark County or in the state of Washington. I feel like I represent Clark County. But our work environment, we need to work on having a better climate for businesses, such as your business or anybody's business, small business, large business. This year we did pass the unemployment compensation bill. Which
I'm going to stop you here for a minute, because that was just a break point of a story. Okay. So I'm going to start again.
A new story? A new segment.
Well, a segment, yeah. So this is where got what happened. And so I'm going to introduce you again here.
We'll do more business stuff now?
Yeah, we'll do a BIA. I mean, again.
We're going to talk workers' comp and unemployment.
Okay, good.
Bill number.
50, okay, that's the bill. Okay.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm going to start again here.
Before you do you want to talk any more? Do you want to talk surrogacy, the surrogacy bill that passed? I mean, there's just some.
There is something. Okay. Well, it sounds like, sure, we can, yeah.
Oh, it did pass?
It did.
Okay, well, I don't know anything about it, so, and neither do the people who are going to view this, so.
But it's in the Senate side, and it's going to go to the Senate side. It passed on the House side.
Okay.
But we can just talk in general. So
I do want to cover that, but I'll start again on this one.
I'm just not sure how many social issues you want to cover.
Well, let's cover that one too because it's related.
Okay.
Okay. Representative Paul Harris. He's our state representative for the 17th Legislative District. And we are talking about it's a
surrogacy bill.
That's why you said it. It's a tongue twister.
It is.
Surrogacy bill.
Thank you. You say it better than I do.
Tell us about that. What is that?
Well, that is, there's only 4 states in the United States that actually allow a woman to hire out and to have a baby. And the state of Washington, at 11 o'clock at night on the House floor, the surrogacy bill was initiated, and it actually passed on our House floor, on the State House, and we spent about 2.5 hours discussing this.
What bill was that?
I don't have the exact bill number with me.
So,
but it's going to the Senate side, and it's going to be heard on the Senate side probably this week.
So this is in process right now?
This is in process right now. It's passed out of my house.
Okay.
And it passed out on a pretty much partisan vote line, where the Democrats voted in favor of it and the Republicans voted against it.
So this allows a woman to say, I will basically serve as a surrogate mother for a fee.
For a fee.
So they can, it's
for
like
profit.
a hiring, so it's hiring your body out for.
It's hiring your body out to,
Has any other state had any bill like this? Any law like this?
There's 3 other states is all.
Have they passed?
3, yes. This is 3 states have this. And this is just a bad bill. Bad law, hopefully it doesn't become a law. Mm-hmm. But there's all sorts of implications that when you think through the whole process. First off, how many eggs are going to be implanted? 2 eggs are typically implanted, so what if both eggs happen to take life? What are we going to do here? They only wanted 1 baby, now they have 2. Maybe it's not the right baby. So maybe they wanted a boy baby, and now this is a girl baby.
So the law goes into those specifics. Does it talk about you're going to implant 2 eggs?
It does.
To fertilize eggs?
It does, absolutely does.
So
it doesn't address what's going to happen if both eggs take. It doesn't address the side of if you wanted a girl and now we have boys. It doesn't address, nor should it ever. We should not be doing this. Mm-hmm. We should not be involved in this. And we should not ever even go down this road. Mm-hmm. This is not the right road to go down.
Well, I'm curious. We have so many babies, children across the world that don't have parents, that would love to, those kids would love to have parents, be adopted, and yet you've got a surrogate mom who wants to hire herself out in order to implant and form 2 new babies and maybe get rid of 1.
And Dave, this is so hard to talk about for me in a way because, first off, who is most likely to be a surrogate mother? Those that are less fortunate, most likely. Those that don't have.
That can make, who's there to say, I need the money.
Yeah, so those that are probably the most vulnerable, and we're going to take advantage of them. This is just bad law. Bad. We should never be doing this. Yeah. We should not be involved in this.
So some of these laws, some people say they got this cliche, you cannot legislate morality, but in reality, all law is based on a moral right and a moral wrong. When you say something's right and something's wrong, that's somebody's morality. And in this case, this is an area that a lot of people it crosses the line in their conscience and think this isn't right here. We're manipulating life and we're cheapening life, we're selling life, and what do you do with the consequences? Anytime you cross a line like that, there are other implications that happen, and what are you going to deal with those problems that you just created? What are the questions you raise?
Yeah, the unintended consequences of this, I think, are astronomical, and we don't know all of them. Yeah. What was interesting is when I ran for this office, a lot of people said, "Oh, these social issues, Paul, they're not that important," and they really, here I am, and dealing with House Bill 1267, which, we should not have done this bill. We should not be writing these type of bills.